Are you looking for a premium Euro sedan that won't obliterate your bank account? Look no further. This right here is the Volkswagen Lamando. It sells for 1.7 million pesos. Is it worth your money? Let's find out. Let me start off by saying that the Volkswagen Lamando is the most desirable new Volkswagen that you can buy in the Philippines. Despite its SAIC Motors heritage, it looks German in almost every way. You get a long and low hood line, you get clean and decisive lines, it looks low and wide, it almost looks like a luxury sports sedan from certain angles. From bumper to bumper, it measures 4,598 millimeters in length, which would make it a pretty large sedan, although it's still classified as a compact. Still, it's 80 millimeters shorter than the new Civic. As far as styling goes, the Lamando looks relatively conservative on the outside, like most Volkswagens are. However, there's conservative that's boring, and there's conservative that's clean. I think this belongs to the latter category. By the way, I'm very particular about this gap right here between the top of the hood line and the top of the wheel arch. If you have too much gap right there, the car looks lifted. I think the Lamando has the golden ratio just right. It looks sporty, it looks European, and even with the just 17-inch wheels, it looks proportional. Here at the front, it gets LED projector headlamps with LED DRLs. The fog lamps though are halogens. You get a somewhat aggressive lip down here for a more sporty look. You get the traditional Volkswagen grille with its horizontal elements, and at the center you get the Volkswagen logo. And that's not just a logo, it actually houses the radar unit for the adaptive cruise and automatic braking. The design has an emphasis on clean lines, and nowhere is that more evident than here at the back. Now, looking at this rear end, you won't find any reverse cameras, at least not until you need it. The reverse camera is actually behind the Volkswagen logo, but until you put the car in reverse, it's tucked away. Let me show you. So here at the back, it gets LED tail lamps with sequential turn signals. You get some fake exhaust tips down there. The trunk gets this raised and curved lid, which reminds me of BMW's CSL spoilers. It gives the car a more sporty look. And again, going back to the clean design of the Lamando, the trunk opener is very cleverly hidden so it doesn't stick out in any way. You won't find any trunk opening mechanisms here, at least none that are visible. To open the trunk, you actually have to do this. So the logo actually doubles as a trunk latch mechanism, and it also hides the reverse camera. You can also open the trunk using the key fob. It's spring-loaded, but it's also dampened, so it opens softly, and it doesn't bounce when it reaches the top. In here you get 481 liters of cargo space, which is more than enough for 3 luggage bags and a couple of loose items. If you need more space, you can fold the rear seats down. Here in the Philippines, we only have one engine option for the Lamando, and that's this 1.4-liter turbocharged engine. Because it's turbocharged, it produces a healthy amount of power, 150 horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque, which is the third best in this segment, if I'm not mistaken. It's next to the new Honda Civic, the MG6. There's also the Kia Forte GT with over 200 horsepower. I'm not sure if Kia still sells it here, but it's an awesome car. Check out my review if you haven't seen it yet. There's only one transmission option, and that's a 7-speed dual clutch. Like the outside, the inside of the Lamando also looks conservative. It's not as youthful looking as the interior of the T-Cross. It doesn't look overly modern, but it's a nice interior in its own way. Like the outside, it looks clean. Not quite minimalist, but not cluttered either. I like how the infotainment screen is integrated into the dashboard. The seats almost feel like bucket seats, They're very well bolstered. They offer good lateral support for your back and also for your thighs. It almost feels like you're sinking into the seats, which is a good feeling. The driver's seat is power adjustable, and it also gets adjustable lumbar support, while the passenger seat is manually adjustable. And also, both front seats are heated. In terms of materials, you have soft touch materials here on the dashboard, also over here. You have leather wrapped armrests over here, and also over here. This is hard plastic. The steering wheel is leather wrapped. You have a healthy amount of piano black accents here, which I don't mind really. And you also have these carbon fiber accents here, which might be a love it or hate it thing. And you also get ambient lighting over here. I like how the infotainment screen is integrated into the dashboard. I'm not really a fan of floating infotainment screens, unless they're really big like on the Tiggo 8 Pro and the Geely Coolray. This gets Apple CarPlay, it doesn't get Android Auto. It gets a reverse camera, but you don't get active guidelines. You do get parking sensors all around the car though. It gets dual zone climate control. Of course, you get an electronic parking brake with auto hold. You get a start stop button. In terms of storage, you get a dampened glove box, and it's quite spacious. Underneath the armrest, you have decent storage. You have one USB port and one aux jack. You also have enough room here for a water bottle. You have two cup holders over here. They're big enough to fit this water jug. But you also get these spring-loaded tabs so you can fit smaller cups without them jiggling around. You can also cover the cup holders if you don't need them. This could be a good place to put your phone. And it gets a sunroof. The cover for the sunroof is manual though, and it lets a bit of light through. Okay, so here at the back seat, space is not an issue. Legroom is quite adequate. Headroom is okay. I have about, I'm guessing that's 1.5 to 2 inches of headroom, which is quite impressive for a car with a sloping roofline. You do get 2 air con vents, 2 USB ports, 2 cup holders over here, which are actually adjustable. So you have these removable tabs. You also have a foldable armrest, which is leather wrapped and padded. I love the seats, they're very supportive. You have good lateral support. You do get a tall center tunnel though, so that might be an issue for the center passenger. The Lamando may be one of the best driver's cars that you can buy at the price. The Lamando gets an electronic power steering system. It's quite light at parking lot speeds, but it gets heavier on the highway. Like most Volkswagens that I've driven, the steering feels very direct. The ratio is quick and there's very little dead zone. It has the second most powerful engine in this class, next to the Civic. The 1.4-liter turbocharged engine can push the Lamando from 0 to 100 kph in just 8.1 seconds. Throttle response is quick, and the 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, I think, is much better than the CVTs of its competitors. It's very quiet on the highway. I'm doing almost 100 now. There's almost no wind noise. There's not much tire noise either. Military convoy, huwag sumingit, baka mamatay. They could have phrased that better. Anyway, yeah, so on the highway I got an average of around 20 kpl. In the city I get about 8 kpl in heavy traffic and about 10.5 in lighter traffic. Like the Civic, the Lamando also gets a lot of driver aids. Okay, so right now I have adaptive cruise turned on, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but my feet are not doing anything. I'm not stepping on the brakes, I'm not stepping on the gas. The car is automatically speeding up, slowing down, and coming to a complete stop on its own. So some people like using adaptive cruise on the highway, but I think it's actually even more useful in stop and go traffic. So imagine driving from Makati to Quezon City in rush hour traffic. Imagine how many times you'd have to do this between the brakes and the gas pedal. That can be quite tiring. But if you have adaptive cruise turned on, it's almost like being a passenger in the driver's seat. I still have not stepped on the brakes or the gas pedal. The car is just automatically adjusting its speed depending on the speed of the car in front of me. It can even come to a complete stop and it'll automatically resume. So this also has automatic emergency braking. The Lamando has been out for a while now, but I think it still holds its own against similarly priced competitors, like the new Honda Civic. It's not the most powerful in the segment, but it makes up for that with its sportier dual-clutch transmission and its overall driving dynamics. At 1.7 million pesos, I think this is one of the best sedans that you can buy if you want a driver's car with a touch of European styling and exclusivity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.